Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a brief guide to the Gala region. I am actually a Galarian. I was born and raised here, so I feel like I'm in a good position to tell you all about our lovely region. So I'm going to be using this strategy guide to help explain things, but do bear in mind that this guide was not written by someone from Gala. I think, judging by the spellings and stuff, that it was actually written by someone from Unova. So, firstly, let's have a look at a map of our region. So this map is actually a very simplified version. We have more cities and towns than this, but obviously they had to simplify it. These towns and cities are all kind of representative of what towns and cities are like in Gala, so it's fine. Of course, to a lot of people, the only city in Gala is Wyndon. It's almost like Wyndon is synonymous with Gala, which is really annoying. Because, some of us, have never even been to Wyndon. And you've got to remember that although we are one region, we do have separate islands as well. We have the Isle of Armor, we have the Crown Tundra, and then we have different areas that have their own unique cultures. Hammerlock, for example, the people of that sort of area, they have their own national identity. So you can't really lump us all together. The city that I am from is not on this map, but it is sort of around this kind of area, I would say. Okay, so we'll go into detail about the different towns and cities as we go through. But for now, I just want to give you a brief pronunciation guide to these places, because I know that is something that a lot of you struggle with. We have very odd pronunciation. For example, the first place named here, Motorstoke. Now, I think a lot of you probably assumed that it's pronounced Postwick because it's got a W, but in Galarian we don't actually pronounce the W in place names. So there's a few examples. Obviously this isn't the only one. There's quite a few examples of cities that have wick or witch on the end of them, but you don't pronounce it as wick and witch, you pronounce it as ick and itch. So Postic. Yeah. Wedgehurst, that's self-explanatory. Motorstoke, that's easy as well. Turfield, Hulbury. Yeah, so some people, particularly Unovans, would pronounce that as like Mulberry, not Mulberry, sorry, Hulbury. But it's not berry. It's Hulbury. Hulbury, like 2 syllables. Hulbury. If we did pronounce it as 3, it would be Hulbury, not Hulberry. Hulbury. There's a lot of like noises in our pronunciation. Of course, my accent is, a certain area of the Gala region. There are many different accents, particularly so Hammerlock, which is our next town here. They have a very strong accent, very distinct. Stow on side. By the way, this naming, if it's like something on something in this region, that shows that it's on a river. So the thing after the on is the name of a river. So Stow on side means it is a place called Stow, which is on the river called Side. Bolonley. I think a lot of people pronounce that as like Ballonley, but it's actually Bolonley. So the emphasis is on the lon. Bolonley. Okay, this is a fun one. I know you've been saying this one wrong. I'm sure you have. So when we have words that have this like Chester bit in them, we actually don't pronounce it how you'd think that you would. So this place, you are probably thinking it's pronounced Sirchester. It's not. It's pronounced Surster. I know that's really silly. Yeah, it's just pronounced Surster. We don't say Sirchester. We just say Surster. And there's a couple of places in the Gala region that are spelt similarly to that. And the wider area that Surster is part of, the county that it is part of, is called Surstershire. But you get a lot of Unovans pronouncing that as like Sirchestershire. Sirchestershire. But it's actually just Surstershire. Surstershire. Yep. Like I said, a lot of Surstershire. And then we have Spikemuth. So this is actually the Unovan spelling. Like I said, this guide was not written by a Galarian. We actually spell it with an O, so it's like mouth, so it's like spike mouth, but it's pronounced Spikemuth. I think they removed the O so that Unovans wouldn't get confused. But still, I'm hearing Unovans pronouncing it as Spikemuth. Have you heard that? I've definitely heard like Spikemuth, which is just, ew. Spikemuth. Again, if in doubt, it's a noise, okay? Spikemuth. And then Winden, and everyone knows Winden, of course. Of course, we're very famous in our region for Dynamaxing. We were sort of like the first to do that, so it's kind of cool. Look how there's like a whole section here just about weather. That is very typical because we in the Gala region are completely obsessed with weather. We will start almost every conversation with a comment about the weather. So, it's common to, when you if you're just making small talk with someone in the street, you would just say like, oh, look at this weather we're having, or like, oh, how about that rain yesterday? That was crazy, huh? And even if it's good weather, we generally complain about that as well. So like when it gets even slightly hot, you get people saying, oh no, it's too hot for me, this, no. and by that I mean like above about 20 degrees Celsius. But I mean, it's because the weather here is honestly crazy. Like, it can change so quickly. Like you know, if you've ever visited, you might be, you know, cycling around and you'll notice that one minute it's foggy, and then the next minute it's raining, and the next minute there's a sandstorm, and then the next minute there's snow. You know, it really is very changeable. Like, it's currently April, and last week, one day we had like 23-degree weather, which is very, very warm for us. Even for like the summer, that would be warm for us. Like 23 would be like a nice August day for us. But then a couple of days later it snowed. So yeah, that's why we're so obsessed with the weather. And I'm sorry to be such a stereotype, but I am currently drinking tea as well. This is Earl Grey, in case you were wondering. I'm not deliberately drinking it just as part of this video. I just literally am drinking tea because I really am that much of a stereotype. So here we have Postick, very idyllic, like country village type place. I've never been. To be honest, I've not really even heard of Postick. It's a very small place. But you probably know it if you ever watched that animated TV show as a kid. About the postman who lived in Postick, and he had a little black and white cat. Yeah, you'll recognise this based on that. And of course, you will be familiar with Slumbering World if you've studied any Galarian literature, possibly at school. In high school, you might have studied some Galarian literature, particularly like romance from the sort of 1800s. There is a book that was based on the Slumbering World. Although the author, she didn't call it Slumbering World, but she called it something very similar. I'm sure you've heard of it. And it had this like very atmospheric descriptions of the moors, and the sort of the romantic hero in that book definitely reflected that kind of energy. So yeah, you probably did that at school. Here we have Wedgehurst. Again, I've not been. I'm sure it's very nice. Everyone loves Yampa. It's quite sad though. Like, a lot of people try to breed Yampa to have like particularly short legs, which is not very good for them. Of course, breeding Pokemon is great. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But when you're deliberately breeding to get a characteristic which is not good for the Pokemon, it's kind of sad. And we can pretty much blame the royal family for that. So, because the royal family love Yampas. I have been to a part of the wild area, but I can't really remember which part it was. Um, yeah, it all looks the same to me. It was just a big field, you know. But I went walking there with a couple of friends, and we just walked the whole day. Um, it wasn't really that interesting, to be honest, but Motorstoke. Now this is a very famous city. You probably know of people who come from here, um, but people from Motorstoke have a very distinct accent. If I can think of someone who has a Motorstoke accent, I will let you know. I'm trying to think. Oh, you will have heard of the band that came from Motorstoke. Yeah, very very famous Galarian pop group. Well, pop, rock and roll. I don't know, from the 60s. Um, yeah. Obviously, you've heard of them. The most famous group of the 60s that came from Galaria. Galaria. What am I saying? From Gala. Yeah, they were from Motorstoke. So yeah, they're pretty well known for their musicians generally. Actually, we've got a few from there. But yeah, very distinct accent. Gala mines. If you are from Gala, then you will probably have visited these on a school trip in primary school. Let me know in the comments if you're from Gala. Did you go and visit these as a school trip in primary school? Because I know I did. Classic school trip. Field. Oh yeah, with the weird like grass markings and the big rocks that some people say were put here by aliens or whatever. Some people say that it was something to do with Pokemon. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. Hulbury, really nice place. I have been here. It's got like these really nice little docks and a really cool marketplace. And yeah, they're kind of famous for their fish and chips as well. Really nice fish and chips from Hulbury. Not basculin, of course. We don't eat basculin. Yeah, I mean like the kind of fish that you eat. Not Pokemon fish. I think maybe I went to the North Wild area. Oh no. Yeah, it was near Motorstoke. I don't really remember. Oh, but I did go to Hammerlock and I did go to Giant's Mirror, but I didn't explore any of this. Hammerlock is a beautiful city. Been there a couple of times. Really lovely. It's got that, like, it's a really big city, like same kind of vibe as Wyndon, but it's also feels more well, it's got like really beautiful architecture. It's got a really beautiful like lakes and like countryside bits to it. It's got loads of castles. A lot of people say that like you know that really popular Galarian series of books and films about the boy wizard. I'm pretty sure that those books were written in Hammerlock. And there's like a little cafe somewhere. Yeah, maybe this one here, Yoshida's Coffee. The books were written in that coffee shop, and a lot of people think that the places in that are based on streets in Hammerlock, and you can go and visit those, which is really fun. I think they might have filmed part of the movie there as well. I'm not sure. Yeah, we obviously grew up learning about the legends of Gala. It's like you always used to do like projects on that in primary school as well. Stowonside. Never been there, to be honest. Don't know much about it. Glenwood Tangle. It's a really beautiful place. I haven't been, but I know that it has been the inspiration for several different children's fantasy books. Again, from the kind of like Victorian era. Like you can see that certain authors definitely drew inspiration from this, especially with like the little mushrooms and stuff. There's some, yeah. Again, if you know anything about Galarian literature, then you will know about that. Cersta. Now, Cersta's a really lovely place. I have visited. They have these baths, which are from like 2,000 years ago. And I don't know if people actually use them. Like, I never saw the baths when I was there. I went because around like December time they have this really lovely festive market, you know, where they do like roasted chestnuts and like baked goods, spiced drinks, gifts and stuff. It's like big outdoor market. They're famous for it. Yes, and it's a very like rich area. Like there's some very posh shops. Places in Gala that have baths. We have a few of them. We technically like we would put like a spa at the end of the town name, spa, SPA. That shows that it's a place that has these ancient baths. Spikemas. Doesn't snow much where I'm from, but there are certain areas that get more snow, especially near Hammerlock. And then, of course, we have Windon, and everyone knows about Windon. It's definitely like the most famous city in Gala. I've been a few times. I don't really live too far away from there, but it's very expensive to take the train there. But I will go there for events and stuff. Like sometimes I have to go there for work, for conferences, or I go for like conventions and stuff. My parents are actually from Windon. them ring loud again. Here's our champion, Liam. Very popular guy actually. He's like a local hero. Yeah, he's great. These two, I think, yeah. So these two, Sworded and Shield, but in case you didn't know, so these two guys, they won this like TV talent competition. I don't know if they won or if they maybe were runners up, but they were very, very popular because they're kind of like wacky and silly, and they're twins, and they have this like mad hair. But yeah, they were kind of like, they're very popular, but they're kind of like a guilty pleasure thing. A lot of people love to hate them, you know. I think they're kind of funny. I don't know what they're doing now though. I think they might be doing TV presenting or something. Because when they were on TV, it was quite a long time ago. I think they did release some songs, but I don't think I'm not sure if they were actually popular. A lot of this is information that is the same in every region, so you probably know a lot of this. Fishing, at the moment, fishing is a bit of a hot topic in Gala. Yeah, so there used to be quite a lot of very strict laws about chain fishing. But I don't really want to. I don't want to go into all the politics of it. But basically, we used to have to follow a lot of laws that were set by the Kalos region. And well, not set by that but they were set in that region. There's like a whole committee kind of thing, and we used to have to follow their laws, but we actually are now independent of that, so we make our own laws, and fishing was one of those things that changed because of that whole situation. And we have something of a fishing crisis right now, so I think chain fishing might still be illegal. I'm not actually sure. Just seeing this shiny wooloo reminded me of this nursery rhyme that we always used to say, in nursery school, about the shiny wooloo. Yeah, you probably know it. I don't know if you have that in Unova as well, or if it's just a Gala thing, but yeah, we'd always say that nursery rhyme. I don't know if it had some kind of deep meaning to it. Like, some people used to say it was something to do with, like, it was maybe like racist or something, but I don't know. I think we can skip a lot of this. There's just one more thing I really want to talk to you about. Let's see if I can find it. One really important aspect of the Gala region Oh, this isn't it, but I want to mention this because I just love alchemy so much. We actually have this TV show. It's like a competition where people compete to make, well, they try to recreate these alchemy Gigantamaxes. Oh, and the host of that has a Motorstoke accent. So there you go. I was trying to think of someone who had a Motorstoke accent so that I could show you what it was like. So if you know the host of that show, you know the guy's kind of old, but he has these like piercing blue eyes. A lot of people think he's attractive, but I don't know. But yeah, he has a Motorstoke accent. And I think that show is actually quite popular in Unova as well. But moving on. Aha. This is the section. Curry. Curry is a staple of Gala. Now, I mean, I should acknowledge firstly, though, the history of curry in the Gala region. I mean, it has a negative history. It's obviously rooted in colonization, which is not something that we as a region are proud of, and it's not something that, you know, I really want to talk about much, but I thought I had to acknowledge it. Curry was not invented in Gala. It was not it's not really a Galarian thing. It is something that we basically stole during that period of colonization. So that's a negative. However, on a positive note, the Gala region is hugely multicultural. We have lots of different cultures in the area where I live in particular. There are a lot of various cultures. It's not unusual for white people to be in the minority in certain areas of Gala, so especially where I live, which means we have really great curry. Especially where I live, there is really, really good curry. And the great thing about curry is you can just put anything in it, absolutely anything, and then just chuck in some spices, stir it the right way. You have to stir it the right way. You have to stir it the right speed, the right number of times, the right direction, all of that. And yeah, it's just like sausage curry, juicy curry, rich curry. Yeah, these food tins, Bob's food tin and Buck's food tin, cult classic. Everyone remembers that from when they were young. Yeah, beans on curry. Beans on curry is a staple dish for us. I know that Unovans think that's weird, beans on curry, but just trust me. Bread curry, yeah. Let me show you my favourites. So I particularly like plenty potato curry and also coconut curry. Really delicious. But you really have to stir it correctly. We're quite specific about how we make curry. You know, there's a whole like ritual to it kind of thing. Same with tea. You know, we're very particular about how we make our tea as well. Like I've heard that in Unova, to make tea, they'll literally just like put water into their rotum, into their heat rotum, and then they'll add tea to that. Like that's just terrible. in Gala, we use a tea kettle, an electric kettle, to boil the water, and then we pour that on, and then obviously you have to be careful, make sure there isn't a poltergeist in your teapot. Anyway, I think that's probably about it. The rest of this, just technical details, really. Oh, speaking of poltergeist, looking so cute. There's a TV show that we have. It's a sort of TV show that you would only watch on TV if you were off school because you were sick and you had to stay at home, and then like you have to put on the TV because there's nothing else to do. And this is the sort of TV show that would be on. And it's this show where like it's usually quite old couples, like two couples, compete against each other to try and buy either the chipped pot or the, what's the other one called? Cracked pot? No. Anyway, they compete with each other to try and get authentic Sinisty cups and authentic poltergeist pots, and then they sell them at an auction at the end, and they see who makes the most money. It's a very popular show over here. But yeah, like I said, you'd only watch it if you were off school because you were sick. If you're from Gala, let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Did you do that when you were sick as well? Okay, so I think this is going to conclude our guide. Please let me know if you have any questions, anything that I didn't cover. And if you're from Gala yourself, please let me know if I missed anything that you think is important. And if you're from a different part of Gala, perhaps you could let me know if there's anything that I should know. I know, like, for example, we have different words for different things here, depending on where you're from. So that would be an interesting conversation to have. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And let's just hope that the weather continues to stay nice. It drizzled a little bit today, but generally pretty sunny, so that's good. Let's hope it doesn't get too hot though. I don't want it too hot. Okay, bye.